much. Very excited to be doing this on a Sunday morning. Good morning to everybody who has joined in. Delighted to have you here. And whether you've just come to cheer us up or whether you've come to, learn more about nutrition, what are we doing and how are we doing it? How are we helping people improve lives? Happy to have you here. So let's get started. Sapna is a dear friend and who, approached me because she was facing some health challenges and, we spoke a couple of times. So I will pass it over to Sapna. Sapna, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit, about your background and, what brought you to me.
Yeah, thanks so much, Urmi. Hi, good morning, everyone. So my name is Sapna Bakshi, and I am a marketing specialist and a community expert. So I am a mother of a twin and happily married and stay in Bangalore. So I come from a very, army background and a happy foodie Punjabi family. So I had a little setback after my surgery 2 years back, and due to which I had a lot of health issues, stress and anxiety, because I was on painkillers for almost 2 years. And then due to that, I basically had a lot of unwanted weight on my body. Over to you, Urmi.
You're on mute, Urmi.
So sorry about that. Yeah. How did you get to know about TransformU community?
So about the TransformU community, I came to know about from a common friend and also through our women's network and circle I was a part of.
So what were the, once I think we spoke a few times and, you had a lot of questions and all that. So what were the concerns, like after we had our initial conversations, what were the concerns that you had about, signing up for this?
Okay, so I was always on a run because of my schedules and staying in a joint family. So I was very apprehensive as I spoke to you because I never had a routine. So I was like very scared and afraid of, getting into a routine and a proper, schedule, and had no time and investment basically for my own self. So that is the reason I was a little apprehensive to start the program.
I know, I remember Sapna was like, how a typical Punjabi family is. I think most families are like that. Everything circles around food. So there are lots of, meals and, even chai ka the evening snack is also a very, she was like, they eat so much of, bhel puri, pani puri. How will I do it? Urmi, nahi hoga mere se. So I was like, okay, you know what you're going through, right? So what finally convinced you to sign up for this?
See, frankly, I'll tell you, I got convinced majorly because of the plan you discussed and the entire healing process, because I am not very, I'm not a person who gets into the, the diet and the proper nutrition and all, but the way you guided me and told me about the entire program, because weight loss was a small part of it, but the entire transformational journey, how it will help me mentally and, with proper nutrition and supplements. So that guided that direction and that guidance from your end actually motivated me to go for it and, at least try something, because I'm a person who always try some new stuff and, explore. So I said, why not? But, believe me, it was not that easy. And that you always, motivated and guided, told me that, every habit, take time to develop. And that was a challenge, but still, I somehow managed to get into it.
Yes. I very clearly remember, because, we first asked them what their daily routine is at present and things like that. And she's like, I don't eat breakfast. I don't have time because I get up in the morning. I have to pay attention to everybody, send my son to school. So my first meal is only, somewhere midway during the day. Or time hi kaise nikalungi? Like she has so many duties to fulfill, right? And I'll let you share, and then maybe I'll come back with what my this thing was. So what was your, the experience? How did you finally, like, from a point of having no time, you learned to make time for yourself? So what was your motivation to do that, Sapna?
Yeah, so the main motivation was, the proper guidance and the benefits we spoke about, and the how the supplements and the right nutrition and proteins will heal my entire body, because I had a lot of challenges with this, with the insomnia, anxiety, stress, depression, and all, and never have taken care about my own diet. So and so that is the reason it all helped me the way you guided me, and the motivation was to basically look good, and how can I shed that unwanted weight on my body, and look and more confident, because I was losing my confidence, like, to show up to world and and look good and be more confident to get face new challenges, basically. So it was a
Great.
complete transformation, and it was really nice because slowly, steadily get into it. And the major, because I don't get into rigid habits. So the main motivation was your guidance, and then how you motivated me, and you were there at every step whenever I had a setback. So that actually showed me the right direction. So,
Yeah.
and you gave me the flexibility to, change my, adapt, and for like those 21 days, adapt to the process and how your body reacts to a particular food. So that actually slowly, steadily, then, I got into the
True,
food.
true. I remember because in between the plan, you joined a new job, and suddenly that was very hectic, right? And you were working all the time, and suddenly that also aggravated your shoulder pain. So you did have a temporary setback, right? Where you had to first, again get recover before you could continue, right? So that was, but do you feel that because you were already on this plan, this time around, your recovery was faster? You were able to, I think, do you feel you were able to bounce back, and it was not very stretched out process, the recovery from the healing the shoulder part of it?
Absolutely. See, because the healing process was already on, and because I was not, because as you were helping me throughout and telling me what to eat and what suits you, because I have a history of IBS, UTI, and then a low BP, blood pressure. So I used to get a lot of stress due to work and the routine I was in. So, but this actually helped me with better healing and faster recovery. Without the how can I, take care of my body without the painkillers.
Good.
That was
So
a
yeah.
great success.
So what about, like, of course you took care of your food and things like that. What other, like you mentioned, anxiety and stress. So you saw some changes in yourself in that. How did this program benefit you in
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
aspects?
So the main benefit from the program, Urmi, was not only the diet, as I mentioned earlier when we started the conversation, that the right nutrition and the protein diet, as it was a part of all this. But the positive affirmations, the guided meditation, and the regular walks, and those things actually helped me, because I was eating the right time, right amount of food, what was required for my body with the right supplements. So that most important thing was that my energy levels were high. I was going for my regular walks, and then that actually helped me in the entire process. So, and the healing and recovery was also faster.
So tell me, how did people react once they saw the changes, and uh, what did you hear from people around you?
So initially, it was like, oh, you're not eating, proper food. You're not eating right amount, so you will get weak, and you will not have that. My anyways immunity was zero, because the entire body was damaged because of 1.5 year of painkillers and all. But then the changes happened, and especially from the family point of view, everybody started eating on time. They actually stopped those the snacking in between, and because I was following that routine. And then the reaction was wonderful, because people saw me, I was more happy, I was looking good, and now they actually are getting inspired and how I'm doing that. because that they really appreciate the willpower and the self-control I have, because now people, when it's not easy, people eating those chole bhature and those sweets in front of you. And I have always been a foodie, as I mentioned, and always have a sweet tooth. And mindful eating was whatever you read and study about mindful living and eating, but always because of the upset routine, because of the stress, we always tend to eat more. So
True.
people started actually getting inspired and making more inquiries and asking about how you've done. I was like, if I can do it, definitely I can help others to get more motivated.
Nice. So what's it looking like now? What's the future looking like in terms of health for you?
So that future is now I'm in my mom's place in Delhi, so I'm joining from there. So it's really awesome and it's looking really promising, because more and more people I meet, and I am like actually want to pay it forward and inspire more of people. That if I have got the benefit, because if any you've undergone any surgery, or you have some issues with sleep or stress and anxiety, we all have in different phases and levels of life. So how can I help, and pay it forward and get more people be more healthy in their routine and life?
One message to all the people who are watching you before we close.
Definitely. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and the wonderful people who are watching all of us today. That please focus. And I have taken a step forward when I never used to thought about taking these things for myself. But please act now, and most important, invest in your health, and that will actually help you to live a very happy life and a healthy life.
Thank you so much, Sapna. It was wonderful being your coach, and really hoping you the best going forward. Take care. Thanks, Rajiv. Over to you.
Thanks, Urmi. Thanks, Rajiv.
Wow. Wasn't that amazing? I mean, the least we could do is just go to the reactions button on your screen and give a virtual applause to both these ladies. Because they did something that others in their vicinity did not see them doing. And every time someone overcomes, it's like a Rocky story, right? We watched Rocky movie. Somebody is overcoming, that's victory for all of us. It's quite funny because one person is getting their health in order and all of us are feeling good about it. That's the essence of community. That's the essence of the work that we do. Okay, so thank you for being patient and involving yourself in Sapna's story and journey. I hope it inspired all of you. Next, don't leave. Okay, we have another part of the meeting. So we have a very, very senior coach. Her name is Ms Ayesha, and she'll talk about a very, very important topic over the next 15 minutes. So without wasting further time, over to you, Ayesha.
Thank you very much, Rajiv. Good morning, everybody. So happy to have all of you here. And even before I start, Sapna, many congratulations on creating that powerful transformation. I know it's taken a lot and you've done extremely well. And I hope many of you are inspired to take action. If you're already on your journeys, I hope this has been a faith builder and has re-sponsored you into your journey and, going on all cylinders, right? So with that, let's just jump in and just let me know, Raji, once my screen is visible. Is it?
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay, brilliant. All right. So everybody, today we are talking about something very important, especially if you're trying to lead a healthier life, or if health has just been something that you have been aspiring towards. Maybe you have children at home and you're trying to make healthier food choices for their sake, so that whatever comes into your household is as healthy as possible. So how do we navigate the marketing gimmicks present in today's time, right? Because see, at the end of the day, everybody wants to sell something, right? And they want to say something to you which will make you buy their product over somebody else's. So how do you cut through the noise and find what it is that will help you stay in alignment with what you want to achieve? So the Quickly, the agenda for today. So we are going to be understanding what health claims are and what are some of those health claims that we need to be mindful of. We're going to go over some common gimmicks, right, that are present in today's market that if you see on a label, you should know that I must be careful with what I'm doing. And lastly, we're going to be reading and learning about how to read and interpret food labels. Okay, so let's understand first what are health claims. Basically, a health claim is any representation, any statement, anything that implies that there's a relationship between a food, between a packet that comes to you or its constituents that are contained therein and your health, right? So anything that says that, if you take this, it's going to benefit your health. That's a health claim. So what are some of these health claims that you should be very, take with a bit of a pinch of a salt so that, you are aware of what's going on. First one, right? Light. Now in international markets, light would typically mean a product that is made with 50% or 1/3 of the fat content that is contained in the original product. In India, though, it's not a very highly regulated term. So light, if you see it on a label, I mean, just turn the thing around and see, like, is light really good for you? It could also be that the starting product starts out with so much fat that, when you bring it down by 50%, is still really, really high than what you really need for yourself. The second one here is multigrain. Now, see, for something to call itself multigrain, you could even put two of those things and call two grains together and call it multigrain. Now, this could be, say, 90 grams maida and 10 grams of wheat flour, whole wheat flour. That's still multigrain. But like, is that the kind of multigrain that you want? So again, just look at the back so that you're better aware of what the food claims are and whether or not you're getting your money's worth. Third is low fat. Now, see, again, low fat is something that we have been conditioned to accept as something that is a healthier alternative. Now, this may or may not be true. Oftentimes, when something claims to be low fat, if you turn the packet around, you will find out that usually it would either be very high in sugars or sodium or salt, something that will make up for the lost, satiety that is found in something that is very fat rich. So low fat may or may not necessarily mean that the product ultimately becomes a lot more healthier. It's just usually a substitution with something else, right? Fourth is natural. Now, understand this, that see, there's no certification qualification required for a product to call itself natural, right? At the end of it all, even a banana, even a broccoli is broken down into components which are chemicals, right? So anything can be chemical, anything at the end of it, chemicals are also natural. So it goes vice versa, it goes back and forth. So if you put natural on a fruit, on a, say, a jar of jam, it may or may not hold true because, like, we don't really know what's going on inside unless you look at the back label. The fourth part in this is the fifth one here is no added sugar. Now, see, why is this a challenge here is that, see, maybe your product to start off with doesn't have any added sugar, but the ingredients that it is made out from like, the foundational product, maybe it is sugary to start out with. For example, something like flour, something like rice, it's while they're fantastic additions to have, right? Like for somebody who's on a maintenance program, somebody who's trying to maintain the kind of health that they have, these are good inclusions to have, provided you have the digestive mechanism in place, which is all sound. However, for somebody who's, say, watching their sugar levels for the sake of their weight, or somebody who's trying to bring down their insulin levels, no added sugar is a very dangerous claim unless we turn it around and we see what are the total carbohydrates mentioned. Because carbohydrates, until it's in the fiber form, is ultimately going to spike your insulin up, which is again going to negate the entire effect that you're trying to get away from. So no added sugar doesn't necessarily mean that the product is not going to spike your insulin. So very careful there. And same thing also applies to something that would call itself diabetic friendly. Maybe the added sugar content in that is 0, but is the carbohydrate content in that also 0? We don't know until we look at the back, right? So those are some of the claims that you would typically, all of these things you will find on the front of the label or places that are very prominent, right? You will not see it in small font. People really want to show that, all right, my product is like the best. So that's where you look at it and become very cautious about turning the label. So I have a couple examples that I've picked out, which will help us understand a little better. So this is a brand of very commonly available digestive biscuits. Now let's look at what are some of the claims that are present on it, right? So it says that, it's digestive, it's high fiber, and, looking at the back, it says happy stomach, heart healthy, daily dose, weight check. So when we look at all of this, it looks like a fabulous, inclusion. Let's look at the small font, right? Under happy stomach, it says, I'll just read it out for you. I know the font is a little blurry because it was really tiny, right? So what does it say under happy stomach? It says that fiber is an important part of a balanced diet, and this particular brand is high on fiber. Then it says that it's heart healthy because several research studies reveal that a high fiber diet can help reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases, which is very true, right? The third is daily dose, having fruits and vegetables as a part of balanced diet to meet the daily fiber requirements. So what we are not realizing is that on a packet of biscuits, we are telling people you have fruits and vegetables to get your fiber, but it's in such a small font. The bigger font is what? Daily dose. So what we understand is you have the biscuit as a daily dose, is great for you, but we're not looking at the smaller font there, right? And then it also tells you that it helps you to check your weight, but the smaller font reads that high fiber diets are more filling than diets low in fiber. So you tend to eat less and are more likely to stay satisfied for longer, which is again very true for fiber. Over the next few slides, I'll show you how much fiber does this product really have. Okay, so let's look at another offering by the same brand, which says that it is sugar free. And on the back it says that it's an honestly good biscuit. It says that it is sugar free, zero trans fats, crispy bite, this and that. So like the overall understanding is what? That it's great for your health. It's a better alternative since it's low in sugars. All right, so let's take a quick look at the ingredient list, right? Let's do a bit of a comparison and understand what it is like. So a simple rule of thumb, anytime you're trying to understand an ingredient list, the first item on that list is the item that is present in the highest quantity. Okay, so here by that rule, if you go and look at the list of ingredients here, what's the number one item here? Refined wheat flour. What's that? Maida. Okay, so we know for a fact that maida is, like, we've grown up hearing that, right? Maida is not good. So hence, like, if you look at the back of a packet, you will understand whether or not the claim on the front is as healthy as it seems. Remember, this is digestive biscuit, right? Here, so it tells us that it will digest better, but does maida digest better? You know better, right? So that, and then there's about 20% of whole wheat flour. There's edible vegetable oil, which is again palm-based oil. Again, there are better oil choices. So some of these examples, like, I'll keep it very brief, but just bear this in mind that refined wheat flour is the number one in this case, almost 90%. If you notice, the ingredient list is not too different. Both of these items, while this one claims to be healthier because it's sugar-free, you'll notice that 90% of this is maida. Okay, now let's look at the nutritional composition. Okay, very interesting. In this, about 100 grams of this biscuit contains how much carbohydrates? About 68 grams. That is close to 70% of the entire packet is, if you were to break it down into its tiniest components, it will become sugar, right? And what's the highest recommended, intake of sugar that you can have as per RDA? The highest that you can have is only 18 grams for a day. Okay, this is including everything else, rice, chapati, potatoes, everything that you're including, everything that turns into sugar, maximum you should be having 18 grams, which is 6 teaspoons. So if you start off here, you've already done your 68 grams. And let's look at the dietary fiber here. How much is that again? 6 grams. Right, and you remember all those claims that we read about how high fiber diet is great for you. So 6 grams, you could do much better, right? Go for fruits and vegetables, guys. That will take care of your fiber intake better than a packet of biscuit will. Okay, so another example, let's look at some breakfast cereals. Now, typically we are told that breakfast cereals, they're healthy, right? That's what we are told, right? Cornflakes and other items. That's just what we've been conditioned to believe. Now, let's just try and break it down. So here are two offerings by the same brand that I am comparing. There is a cornflakes packet, and then there's a special offering that, a couple of years back, they actually ran a campaign as to how this version of this can help you lose weight, right? So like, they had a lot of diets around it as well. All right, so let's compare the nutritional nutritional information in both of these. And let's jump right into the carbohydrate contents here. So this is a 30 gram serve, okay? 30 grams serve here, and then they also are like, just to, boost up the claim a bit, they're also saying, all right, 30 grams serving with 200 ml cow's milk. So we don't know about whether or not cow milk is going to be 200 ml or what. We will look at 30 grams serve here. Now, in a 30 grams serve, if you take a careful look, almost 27 grams, that is close to almost 90%. Of this is almost carbohydrates, which breaks down into what? Sugar. And we remember what is our daily requirement. The highest that we can include is about 18 grams only. So we've already overshot. You look at the same thing. So this packet compares about 100 grams of serving. Okay, this is in 100 grams, you have about 85 grams. You remove dietary fiber from this. Right, so that still brings it down to 80 grams, which is, again, you're looking at 80 grams of sugar in a packet of 100 grams of this special item that is supposed to help you live a healthier life, help you lose weight. So again, that's a bit of a discord that we are looking at. So we'll move a little faster now. So we'll, again, like this is a purported health drink that is commonly available. After COVID, they added another claim to the label which says immune system. This was not pre-COVID, right? And then they talk about all of these different things on the front of the label. If you look at the back, very interesting. Per 100 grams, we are looking at almost 85 grams of sugar, right? Is that good? Is that bad? You decide better. If you're giving this to your children, I know I grew up having this, and the thought was that this is a very healthy drink, but is it really? Right? Now we know better, right? So that's, again, something that is very commonly available. Same thing for this is something that several of my clients have also asked me in the past. So what I typically would recommend is to include a lot of berries in their diet if they can find it easily. So something like cranberries, right? Fantastic inclusion to have. Now, fresh cranberries, they're very healthy. They contain about 12 grams of carbohydrates, in which sugar is only 4 grams. The rest is fiber, right? But when you preserve it, what happens to it? That in about 100 grams of those cranberries, then you get about 85 grams of carbohydrates. Out of that, sugar is close to 70 grams, right? So you've really lost the nutrition part of it there. So best way to take fruits is to have them fresh. This applies to also dry fruits, which is different from nuts, right? If you can have the fresh fruit, that is a much better inclusion. Last example that I have in front of you is some fruit juices, right? So if you look at it, they call them, we understand them to be fruit juices, but they're what actually ready to serve fruit beverages. Why is that? If you look at the label, the highest quantity here is water, followed by concentrated mixed fruit juice combination, which is only what? 12% of the whole bottle of 1 liter, right? So 12% of fruit in a whole bottle, good or bad, we know better, right? So that's what this looks like. So to sum it up, what are some of the things that you must keep in mind? First is start with the ingredients list. Try and understand what is really contained therein. And the first ingredient is the most important, followed by in descending order, right? So that's how the ingredient quantity is. Check the serving sizes. So say if you're consuming a bar of chocolate and the entire chocolate weight is about, say, 100 grams, it might be so more often than not that the serving size will only be 30 grams. Right. So if it says that it contains 20 grams of carbohydrates, be careful that in how much is 20 grams of carbohydrates. Right. So that's another very important distinction to make. Same thing applies to looking at nutritional information tables. That's what we have been doing. Look at the carbohydrates, look at the fats, the trans fats. Look for any additional claims or certifications. For example, if something claims to be organic, usually it would be so that only a portion of the entire product will be organic. Something like a Chyawanprash, a portion of that would be organic, made with organic blends. The rest would be whatever is available or whatever the manufacturer has chosen to put, may or may not match with the additional claim. So check what is really present. Also look at the small font. The nicer things, everybody is going to put it in big handwriting, is going to put in big font, but the disclaimers, that something can hurt you, that's going to be in the very small font. And lastly, look at celebrity endorsement. Somebody tells you that you're going to lose weight if you have something, if you're going to have a green tea, you're going to have a flat stomach. May or may not be true, right? They are fit because they do a lot of different things besides just having that green tea, right? So be very careful. If somebody is telling you that, you're going to transform yourself if you just include this one ingredient, and they're telling you that it's a quick fix to a greater health, be very careful, right? So that's my time. With that, Rajiv, back to you. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope this was a good value add to you.
Wow. How many of you are enlightened, inspired and enlightened? You know, I remember when I learned about this science, all I could do was just go to the food label and just look. And everybody, why is it so weird? But 3-4 years down the line, we can tell the difference. Right? So thank you so much. We've come to the end of the open house. I hope all of you had a good time. I hope you are taking back something with you after this call. We'll keep the call open for 1 or 2 more minutes. You can just leave your messages, anything nice you want to, any compliments that you want to give to all the speakers. And if you want to share anything, with that, I am signing off as your host. Have a good day.